Florial's Carnival is almost done. Yes, it didn't hear me wrong. The game is 17% done as the writing of this script. But before anything, if you didn't watch my other two devlogs, you should, because they're essential to understand what I'm about to say in this video. But here's a quick recap. Basically, everything done until this point was just what I like to call the bones of the actual game. They are the AI, interaction system, some essential items, etc. But now, in this devlog, I'm going to be talking about the meat of this game. What does it mean? Basically, this references the creation of the location, which is going to be the circus, and all the other items that weren't planned but are needed to make the map work, and the lore. But this part is going to be for another video. In this one, I'm just gonna cover the map creation and some other important things. So yeah, with that out of the way, let's really start this devlog. Before starting creating the map, I want to make something really clear. The assets that I'm going to use are not my creation. They are paid assets that I bought with my own money. But I hear you ask, why didn't you make all those assets? Well, that is because I don't want to spend over a year on this little game. And I'm saying little on the literal sense. My prediction is that the game, if speedrun, can take through over a minute. And I hear you asking again, why do you want to make such a small game? Well, that is simple, because I want to start making other games and evolve. If I decide to get stuck making one game for a year, I will not develop as fast as I could if I made a small project in other themes and different styles, but all in the horror/mystery related for now. But that's my philosophy about this whole ordeal. If you have a different opinion, please leave it in the comments below. I'll be reading them all. But anyways, here's the list of all the assets that I've used. The list includes Brushify Forest Pack, EP Master Materials, Modular Victorian House, Outdoor Circus, Trailer Dealer, and finally, Ultra Dynamic Sky. And that's all of them. Some I got free because of Epic Games giving free asset packs every month, but some I bought with my own money. And yes, I need to spend my pocket money a bit more wisely. But with that all being said, let's move on to the first thing I made, which was the landscape. So, with the help of Brushify, I started making the landscape. Well, this wasn't very difficult to make, since Brushify really makes my life a lot easier with already providing everything already game optimized. But Brushify cannot do anything if you don't know what exactly to do, so even before making the landscape, I made a simple bird view of all the buildings and everything I wanted to have in the map. For those who don't know, a bird view of the map is simply a map seen from above, for example this map here. But the one that I made is a little too simple, and that would come back to bite me later. So here's a simple trick if you also plan to make a map and all. The trick is to make a bird view of the map as detailed as possible in the places that are necessary to do so, like really drawing the assets that you plan to use on that location and other things, but only on the important stuff. Anyways, after that I started making the landscape. This would take a while, but because this part was way too boring to put in the video, I'll just skip this and go to the actual interesting part, which is the making of the circus walls. You see, because my original plan was to make everything in one single map, I needed to start thinking about optimization early on. So, for optimization purposes, I used normal walls that I made on Blender, you see, because initially I wanted to use these ones. But because you could see through the wall, that could lead to some big problems regarding the optimization of the map. So I hopped on Blender and made a simple design for the walls. Unfortunately, this had its own set of problems, but for the video's sake, I'm not going to dive deep on that topic. Just going to say that the corners are a hell of a pain to make. Well, at least for me they were. Anyways, with the walls done, I started limiting the space that I would need to make the circus, and after that, I finished everything regarding the landscape. But the real thing starts now, since I need to decorate such a big place. But before that, I decided to work on the skybox, lighting of the scene, and the outside decoration. I also want to briefly talk about decals, since I gave a little bit of a cover in my previous video, but I will explain them better here. So, decals in Unreal Engine are like projections of textures into meshes or into the world in general. They are great tools to decorate walls or even to give some detail that a normal mesh can't give. In my game, I used decals more as a way to decorate the walls since they felt empty. So to decorate them, I decided to go with images that simulate graffiti. Well, they are not as good as normal graffiti, but they get a pass for me. and after all that work, it looked like this. Well, I must confess something. I didn't know exactly how large the map needed to be, so I just made it big for the sake of it. And it was a mistake, but I pushed forward and made it look passable. It may not... who am I kidding? This looks like it has a lot of unused space. And yes, I know that it has, but I don't know what more to put. So I'm gonna just let this error slide for now. May this be a lesson for all of you who want to make a big map. Please plan out your areas really well, because if you don't, well, it can and will return to bite you in the foot later on. But yeah, not much to elaborate, so I'm just gonna show you how it looks. By the way, sorry if I'm giving too much of a secret about this part of the game. I just figured that if I showed too much, that you guys would lose interest in playing for yourselves. But anyways, with the circus done, I started working on the room where you would first find Florial. This room specifically was way easier to make, since the room was a lot smaller, and this time I actually had an idea of what to put inside. And in the end, it turned out to be my favorite room to decorate. But well, if you don't believe me, then check this out. Well, this is also the room where you would find the shock button, but that isn't the interesting part, because after you go into that room, you'll go back to the circus with Florial now trying to catch you, so now your plan is to escape. But since I didn't plan much further into the way you would escape or win the game, whatever, nor have I thought of anything yet, I will not be saying much about this, since the idea that I have right now as I'm writing this script can and will probably change as I get more ideas. So yeah, because of this, I also want to hear your suggestions about what to put more into the game, and if I like your idea, who knows, maybe your suggestion will appear in the next devlog and get your name in the credits of the game. But before I end this section, I want to cover the bug fixes that I did over these two devlogs in a quick fashion. First is that I upgraded the AI a bit more and got it to a very good state for my standards. But it still has a lot of bugs involving the sound. But after some discussion with myself, I decided that it's now a feature. Oh yeah baby, I love those. Also, some changes were made to the flashlight, so now it's on when you pick it up and when in the map. And yeah, unfortunately, yeah, that's all that I can show you guys for now. In the next devlog, I plan on showing you guys some lore stuff and actually releasing the game, but for now, I don't have an exact date for when it's going to happen. But as the posting of this video, there will be a page in GameJolt that shows some teasers and all. So if you want more frequent updates to the launch dates or whatever, you can follow me on X, and the game's GameJolt page, or my GameJolt's profile. And you can of course subscribe for the next devlog. And that's all that I have for you now. I have been Void, and I'll see you next time!